Alright, we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 23. It's another glorious Sunday, and we've got a lot to discuss, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who I consider a friend of the round table, and I have the pleasure to meet in the flesh at E3 2015. We broken bread together with Lord King and Lord Ruler, and even had a chance to chug down some Elder Scrolls mead while talking gaming at various events. He's also a multi-platform owner, and I always respect his different take when it comes to gaming politics and issues in the community. Introducing the indie dev guru and the silent partner of the Tick podcast, fellow Destiny Warlock fan, fellow Tekken and Chicago Bulls fan, my man, Lord Bmuny101. How we doing, sir?
Yo, the intro is ridiculous. I appreciate it, man. Yo, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. You know what I mean?
Good to have you, man.
The other lords, man. So I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, the non-aggro gamer himself, my man, Lord Addict. How are we doing, sir?
Nothing, just checking out the social space on Destiny 2.
Not focusing on the podcast.
Momentarily, no, not at the moment.
My man.
Hey, it's not my fault. This is gonna be over before the podcast is over. Get off my back.
No doubt. You are allowed. Shout out to Bungie for dropping their social space right at the start of the ILP. Cross promotion. And of course, our most technical gaming lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single player experience, semi-offline Xbox profile Illuminati. My man, Lord Sovereign. How are we doing, sir?
What's going on? Somebody's noticed that I haven't been online lately. I needed to get through the old blood. That's what
I feel like
disturbances.
You know what? I feel as a single player experience guy, I feel you have to do it sometimes. Otherwise, you can't get there. I just like the bar. I think it's funny.
And especially with the Destiny beta out there, everybody's sending you invites. I'm like, hold on, let me finish this first and let me go. So I'm doing fantastic, doing well.
No doubt. And of course, the excess gamer.
ooh,
The Lord who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than the premium experience.
ooh.
Beloved, Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
We're doing fantastic today. Another glorious Sunday. I can't wait to get into these topics, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Today's going to be fun. We got Beat Money in the building, so you already know it's going to be crazy. So, of course, I am Lord Cognito, spreading that gaming realness here on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And we got more great things lined up. So before we get started, I just want to know what are the Lords playing these days in these gaming streets. Let's start with Beat Money. What's been on your radar? What have you been playing this week?
Just this week, man. I just been on a Destiny beta. You know, it dropped on Tuesday, PS4. So I've just been rocking out on there, and then got the Xbox version, so played it on there. I actually was just playing it before I hopped on here, so that's all I've been focused on. You know,
right
You ain't the only one, baby. You ain't the only one. We was all playing it before we jumped on here.
Everybody, the Lords are not focused. Everyone is playing the right now, but it's all good.
Yeah, that's where I've been at, man. So
No doubt. And of course, what's going on, Lord Sav? Actually, let's go like Lord Addict. What's Lord Addict been playing?
Halo Wars 2 and Destiny 2.
Are you still playing Halo Wars 2? I got to give you credit.
He's not gonna stop, and I'm gonna join him in that.
Well, they're releasing another, like, this is like the 8th. Well, 8th is a little bit exaggerating, but they're releasing another leader.
Okay.
An AI that died in the first one. So.
Oh wow. They still support it. That's what's up. I gotta respect.
Yeah, we get another leader. We get 2 missions this month, a leader, and the next month we get a mission, another leader, a grunt leader actually, and then after that, that's when their expansion starts. So,
Lord Addict. So do you suggest when I purchase the game, I get the whole package, the big shebang?
Yes, because if not, if you don't get the season pass, if you buy all of the leaders individually, it's like the cost of the game again.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And I feel like I feel like a lot of people are doing that. That's not really understanding what's going on. So they're they're paying for the game twice.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And of course, Lord Sovereign, what have you been playing offline this week?
So I finally finished the Old Blood. Great game, except for the last boss. The last boss is freaking horrible. Like when anybody plays it, when you get to that boss, you're just gonna be reminded of what's his name, Doomsday from Batman vs Superman. Just
Yep.
Wow.
that level of bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was bad. Not good. But the game is great. A little more Fire Pro on the PC, and of course the Destiny 2 beta. I definitely got in there. I touched up everything. So
wow, yeah, we're gonna get into that. I was curious.
I have some comments about.
We're gonna get into that. No, Lord King, what you been playing this week?
Well, I put down the Zero Horizon Dawn. I don't know if I'm gonna have to go back to that.
This is like the second week, Lord King. Like you can't,
I told
no
you.
Motivation.
It doesn't give me that push. My Bloodborne and stuff is still looking at me, so I'm going to really dedicate myself to that PlayStation because I put that downstairs in the man cave solo away from the Xbox. Because I notice if I'm in front of a TV and I have the choice between an Xbox and a PlayStation doesn't even get looked at. So I put
shots fired.
Yeah, I put it downstairs by itself so it can, have room to breathe. And I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna, get into that because that's gonna be my space down there. But I've been playing a Destiny 2 beta, and I play my Battle Islands. I cannot stress this enough. It's a free-to-play game. I would like everybody that's listening to the podcast to just, download the game.
I'm gonna download it. I see you on it.
Yeah, it's a real good. It's very addictive. You can join your groups, your clans, and stuff like that. And I like going and stealing people's money when they sleep. That's my thing. I like people to wake up surprised that I stole $1 million plus from them, and and they got a chance to retaliate again. And if they fail, then I can just go right back in their wallet. It's a good thing for me. I like it. I do it all day. So yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Good stuff for me. Lord Cognito here. Plus, I've been rocking out. I got the Splatoon 2. I was able to download that. Got a good deal from Best Buy on that, so I was rocking a little bit.
It came out?
Yes, it did. Came out Friday at midnight.
Oh, okay. Let me go download that. I didn't know it came out, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie.
Came out Friday at midnight digital. And just a word of advice, y'all, for those who just pick it up who do not like motion controls. You are screwed for the first 10 minutes because the tutorial is completely in motion controls. You cannot get out of it until you finish the tutorial. It is annoying. I tried everything. They just got to work on that. But
hashtag not picking it up now.
No, but listen, after the first,
it's not that bad once you get over that. Though.
Exactly. Once you get over that, like Bmuny said, you can just turn that off. You can disable it in handheld mode. You can disable it in, when it's docked. And then from there, the game is really fun.
Why is it every day Nintendo does something that just annoys me?
Because they've been doing so much good stuff and doing stuff right. We fail to realize this is Nintendo. They still have their old messed up ways. So, we got to allow concessions for that. They are who we thought they were. They ain't nobody new. They are who we thought they were.
So did that. I've been going hard with Lloyd Kaibatsu and Lloyd Valakan on that Marvel Heroes. I've been really getting into it.
Yeah, I seen you guys.
Free to play, Diablo style. So much fun. Get your heroes on. If you're a Marvel fan, you got to do it. It's free. You can't complain. Or at least up to level 10. So I've been rocking that. Yep. Also dusted off the Tekken, baby. Getting the skills back. I got to sharp up for B-Money. I see it hurt his lilies out there in these streets, so I got to sharpen up a little.
She gets busy.
I'll see you guys in November.
You bastard. You waiting for the extra?
I'm not doing 720. I'll see you in November. Long load times, 720. Count me out.
I will say this. Load times are pretty brutal, and it makes you. I must admit, I can't wait for the X for that version because you can see
what you
just
should
from
do,
the
right?
What's up?
You should play Killer Instinct.
I'm good on that game. I'm good on that.
Long, drawn out silence.
Yes.
It was like, you know what he said, right? When I said that, right? He said, "How dare he?"
Yeah, I've never been that guy. But shout out to Gun Stick for the people who like it. But that's it. So that's what I've been rocking. So I just want to, before we start, I also want to talk about last week's poll. Last week's poll results are in, and the people have spoken. The winner of the October 27th Murderers Row poll in a highly contested battle was Assassin's Creed Origins at 39%. Wolfenstein 2 came in at a very close second at 35%. Disrespecting the Lord's opinion of Bethesda. And for the poor Mario Odyssey, man, finished third place. So it was about 192, almost 200 votes. We had people in the poll. And I want to thank everyone for actually participating. We got a new poll cooking up at the end of the show, so stay tuned at the end for that. But we're going to get into these topics. We got a lot to talk about. So first of all, obviously, we know that the Destiny 2 beta is upon us this week. And there's been a lot going on with that. So I want to bring this to the round table as far as the story. I want to talk about that villain, Dominus Ghaul. And I also want to get the Lord's opinion of just the feel likes and dislikes. So I want to start off with Bmuny, since Lord Addict didn't know Bmuny is that Destiny life. He's about that Destiny life. So Bmuny, what's your overall feeling of this beta and story and such so far?
I think overall, I think it's gonna be pretty good. You know what I mean? It's definitely more story content than there was with the vanilla Destiny. You know, the gameplay is top notch. Gunplay is second to none. You know what I mean? The one thing I would say is that some of the multiplayer stuff feels like a little bit off. With it being like 4v4, I would prefer if they would have kept it like 6v6 or maybe even expanded to like 8v8 or something like that. But like just playing, when they drop you into the story, you know, they throw you right into the action, which is good. You know, it's not really a tutorial or anything like that. And then, you know what I mean, the big villain, he's a badass, you know what I mean? Takes all your life, kicks you off the ledge, you know what I mean? He's going to be something to be reckoned with. So I'm looking forward to it. September 6th can't come soon enough, man.
Absolutely. So as far as I want to ask you, Bmuny, now, as far as like the actual villain, Dominus Ghaul, and you know, like for the people, I guess, because obviously we're Destiny lovers, so do you think the people who are either on the fence with Destiny or just like anti-Destiny as far as the story, because that's the big knock, do you think that it helped its case, or do you think it's still going to remain the same, status quo? Like, what do you feel about that?
I think people who really aren't into it, it's not really going to affect them at all. You know what I mean? They'll look at it and they'll see, you know, because every Destiny expansion had some big villain. So they'll just kind of look at it like that. You know, it's just another character that, you know, will be gone by the first expansion, and, you know, it'll be some other big villain or whatever the case is. So it may not affect them as much unless they start promoting it a little bit differently.
Gotcha.
If they put Ghaul out there, and as far as TV promotion and things like that, and make people understand that he is the big boss of Destiny 2, then maybe, you know, people start taking a little bit more notice to it. But other than that, they'll just, you know, pass it by and say it's just Destiny 1.5, like I've been seeing all over.
Yeah, that's been the hashtag. Yeah, Destiny 1.5. I've been seeing that too. Cool. So Bmuny is for the most part satisfied. We just got to get him a little bit more enthused about the multiplayer, right? You just want your sixes back. I mean,
the 6v6 felt so good last time. You know what I mean? Like it seems, you know, because they don't put the 2 modes in there. But like the maps are pretty big. Control, you know, still feels good. But
did you try Countdown?
Yeah, Countdown. Like I wish that was 6v6. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, some of those matches go a little quick just because it is 4, and then depending on, you know, the people that you're playing with. So like if you go in there with randoms, like just go in there and getting trashed. You know what I mean? And it becomes pretty difficult. So you know, that's the one thing with that mode. You probably want to play with your boys. You know, some people who know how to play the game. Otherwise, you know, just get frustrated.
Absolutely. Cool. So any of the other lords want to jump in on their Destiny 2 beta impressions?
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to this podium. Excuse me. Thank you, Bmuny. I'm gonna start off with saying, F Bungie.
Oh.
I'm gonna say that from the bottom of my heart for making it absolutely difficult for maybe I think it was 20,000 people that had a hard time downloading your beta. Oh, yeah. And I got nothing but the runaround when I was talking to Xbox, Microsoft. I know you tried your hardest. F you too. Wow. And you know, you guys never hear me go off like this, but I was absolutely 100% frustrated. I gave you $100 and my $100 was clean when it came through, right? That card ran fantastic when it came through, right? You was very eager to steal my money and walk away very fine, and you promised me a beta at the same time everybody else was playing the beta. But guess who wasn't playing their beta? Guess who wasn't playing their beta? Guess who had to go night-night? Me! I had to go night-night. I had to go to sleep because I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to look at the screen. I was so disheartened. I said, why is it that I support these idiots all the way through 100%? I was down with you from this day Destiny launched. I brought the big package. I even went out and brought that ghost that I couldn't find off of eBay for $100.
Now let's break down this issue, Lord King, because clearly you have a lot on your plate. So my question is now, I remember when we were going through that whole beta thing, the file download wasn't the normal 15 gigs for you, right? It was like a small, right?
98.2 megabytes.
Wow. Now, when you tried to launch that file, was it giving you like one of those weasel or them?
No, it didn't. No, I wish I would have got weaseled, owled, or schooled, or whatever they do. I wish I would have got something other than go to the store. Your joint ain't out. Hold on. So I said I could call Microsoft. They was like, yeah, you got it. It's there. You know what? We're getting a lot of that right now. So what you need to do is call Bungie. They have a hotline set up for you, and they also have a website. It's called www.youbenscrewedbybungie.com.
Pretty much they passed the buck for you to go over the money.
I went there, it got so serious that I purchased the game again. I said, I'm going to get the game again. I said, well, maybe this will unlock this key because everybody keep talking about a key. I ain't get a key. Where's my key? They just gave me a door. They didn't give me no key. It don't have no doorknob. It has a keyhole, but I ain't got a key.
Wow, that sucks. I do remember when we started, like, yeah, you had major issues trying to get it. I did see on some of the forums people were saying that first day was pretty brutal for some people. So
Yes, sir. So everything got settled with Microsoft. I deleted that other purchase. Got to Bungie. Bungie called me. Bungie texted me. Bungie tweeted me. I went to sleep. I got an email when I was sleeping. Shout out to Lord Hot Monkeys Lovin'. He was texting me. He said, get on, I'm jumping on. He had just started his download. I told him what I was doing. I had the problem. Then I saw the email. The email said, click on this link. I clicked on the link. Let me tell you what they told me in this link. Hold B when you press A to download.
What? Okay. Interesting.
It cleared it up.
Wow. Interesting. That is the weirdest fix. I have never heard anything like that. Okay.
It cleared it up.
So then at that point,
AKA they secretly blaming it on you. They're on the low blaming it on you. It's not our fault. You didn't know.
It's you. It's you, you dumbass. You didn't know that you had to press B and hold it.
You didn't do the up, down, left for that?
Hey, man, do not start with that nonsense, because I will literally derail this podcast so fast to roast you.
Lord Atkins in the chat causing problems.
So all right. So let me give you my impression of the game after I got a chance to play. I got in, like I said before, I played the PC version, so my initial reaction is to compare it to the PC that I played. Okay. They gave me more story than in the PC version that I got, because we got to play a little small section in the PC. This was extended. It was a little bit more flushed out. Stuff made sense to me now. So I was like, okay, the story makes sense. This makes sense. That part makes sense. The graphics is comparable, guys. Not taking anything away from it. I'm playing it on a 4K screen, but the graphics are comparable to the ones that I played on the PC. The pacing was good. Do I feel that it's a super step? I don't have the full game to give that assessment at this time. So I won't shortchange them, and I don't think from the small sample size that I received that I can comment on how vast the story has improved, to be honest with you.
But did that first mission captivate you at all?
Yes, it did. It started the juices flowing. The multiplayer we played. I suck at multiplayer. I'm gonna let everybody know I suck at multiplayer because I don't put the effort in to play it. But this multiplayer felt vastly different. As Lord Cognito can attest, I came in at the top of the leaderboards at one match, and the playing off of your teammates and the cooperative, the way you use your supers and your specials and the weapon loadout and setup, we thought it was something minor when they put 2 primaries in it. That's not minor at all. It vastly changes the dynamic of the game.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000 on that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So is it 1.2? No, because it felt fresh, new, and exciting. So did it feel like Destiny 2? Yes, it felt like Destiny 2. So yeah,
cool. So overall, outside of the crazy issue getting in and Bungie's foolishness with the beta, but we did like the product. All right.
Oh, I love the product. Can't wait to September.
No doubt, no doubt. And Lord Addict, I want to get you in there. How have you been feeling about said beta?
I mean, I played everything they had to offer. I played some PvP today. I'm trying to stay away from it for the most part because I don't want to OD on the little content we do have now. And then, it's not like I won't play it on launch, but I want to feel as, new to the project as possibly can. But, when it comes to your single player, it looks like they've really established a narrative, They definitely kicked this because that's that's Homecoming is the first mission of the game, and Homecoming is a way better mission than the first mission of Destiny.
Absolutely.
So, but since Oryx, we haven't really had a good antagonist. We just haven't. Yeah. So I'm glad that Ghaul or Gary.
Gary.
He's definitely he's really, really extra. Like Gary he'll mess you up. He don't care, and you could tell I do think it was awfully convenient. He walks out there when your light goes away, but but that I digress. I'm not going to even argue if he's a bitch or not. But so he walks out there and he starts just manhandling you around this entire platform, and he's just kicking you 10, 15 feet every time he kicks you. I mean, he's just straight up this is my shit. This ain't yours. Exactly. I mean, you've never seen any of the enemy factions to really dominate the Guardians like this. He has all of them straight up I don't know what to do. I mean, who knows what happened to the speaker? So I mean, they have enough of those.
Hopefully, they killed that charlatan.
They have enough perspectives in play. You want to pick it up just to find out what happened to the speaker. Why is he showing up now? How did he get through all of their defenses? It's why. What is he using to absorb the light from the Traveler? Where is the light going? So, they have a lot of mysteries, which Destiny 1 didn't. For the most part, Destiny mocked itself. And, they was always making fun of themselves. So, what some of the biggest things about Destiny 1 that really intrigued me that I was really, what's going on was the stranger and stuff like that, and that's completely out of Destiny now. So that.
Shout out to Lord Panda and Lady Panda in the chat. She said Gary's a monster. She loved that opening.
It was good. One of the moments I knew I was messing with Destiny is when Savon went up there and he looked at the window. It's convenient. He went to the window the moment they got the raid led on their place, and he was just everybody on me, puts up that bubble, and then they just start. Which I will say I'm a little bit less of a Cade fan after he golden guns and tries to shoot big airships. I didn't get that. That made no sense. What were you shooting at, Cade? Homegirl should have let you die.
He was trying to help out the situation.
What was he? He was
He had the celestial Nighthawk invisible mode, and he was trying to double X the ship. Come on, man, it's K, baby.
So that they definitely got the K thing. That's what I'm really excited about Destiny is they got the characters down. Savon has his own identity now. I don't know about the Warlock chick. See, she ain't done nothing. She hasn't done nothing so much that I don't even know her name right now.
Before you even get into that, let me get back to B-Money for a second, because this is Warlock Master Race. How do you feel about Ikora as a Vanguard? I'm curious about B-Money's position on this. What's his opinion on her compared to the other Vanguards?
I mean, she's not really distinct enough. You know what I mean? She's been super silent. You know what I mean? And they really didn't like play her role.
Makeover.
Yeah, talk about it. B-Money. Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean? I've played Warlock since day one. You know what I mean? That's all you need.
She needs a K makeover. That's what she needs.
No.
They just need to give her a little bit more personality, man. Like,
Cade
is.
Listen, you let the buffoon stand out there do buffoon things. You let the strong dude stand up there, and you let the Warlock chill in the corner. When she took down the ship.
Yes, I will admit that was the hottest thing she did.
Okay, literally that 5 seconds. That 5 seconds is just all she's done since Destiny.
But she's about business. That's it.
Well, she ain't been about business. She's been about business for 3 years.
Listen, the ship came in, and the ship thought it had to drop, and it didn't. It didn't have to drop. It didn't.
Savage, man. She looked at that. She looked at that ship. She wasn't even. Dude, she jumped on a ship. She just wrecked.
Listen, man. Listen. The Titan threw up a bubble. That's right. Sit in the corner, throw up your bubble, protect people, be quiet. You had the buffoon over there shooting the goal and get this shit. My girl took the ship out. Like, come on, stop. No, come on, man. Nah, y'all ain't gonna do that to her. I'm not gonna let y'all do that to her.
Listen, all I'm saying is, outside of that moment, the only moment I had of a car that was
memorable
was when Taken King dropped and we got the Stormcaller power, and the way she was describing it and helping you harness. That was, to me, one of her best moments. I felt like the connection to the character. But outside of that, she's really the worst.
What I want, you got Savala. He's that, he's that noble, I need things that need to be ran my way. I feel like this needs to be my way. You got Cade with that silly, egotistic
buffoonery.
Yeah, that silly egotistic personality he's got. And that, I feel like she needs that,
I think her story is this one.
Warlocks need to be like the master race. Warlocks need that's the kind of storyline I want from her. I want arrogance from her. I want her to think that if it's not done by a warlock, warlocks aren't doing it.
It's more zen, bro. Like, you don't get the zen feel from her. That's what I get. Like,
I don't get a zen feel for 5 seconds of gameplay in 3 years. Sorry.
Well, what I've gotten from her, and because you're not a warlock, so
I'm every class, sir.
Yeah, I know. See, no, I'm a warlock. Anyway, her balance is
like
between
like this. Sorry.
Yeah, but her balance is between the buffoon and the stone man. Like, he's all rigid and stone and, thou shalt not pass type thing. And this buffoon is like a rubber band spaghetti noodle in the corner doing spaghetti noodle stuff. She's the balance, baby.
I want more statements like she made on Taken King, like more of a personality where she's like, we need to get a warlock on that dreadnought. Like, I want more areas like that, like where I feel like she would be a good, if it's not done by a warlock.
Well, she's just too laid back. Like, I don't think she just has a I think they're still trying to define her character. Like,
I think so.
I want that feeling when she walks in. She's gonna be like, "You guys can't do this. Warlocks can only do this." Like,
but who would have took down the ship other than her though?
No,
a golden gun could have took that little ass drop shield down.
But it didn't, though. It didn't.
That's because Cade wasn't there. Look at you.
He was doing his buffoonery in the corner.
Just because you've been murdered by Nova Bombs don't mean they all that hot.
Let's give Destiny 2 a chance to flesh her out because she does have her own story. Like, apparently, all the Vanguards, they do split up in Destiny 2.
Thank you.
You have to go to each planet, and I believe I forgot the planet she's on, but it has like a lot of deep lore. I believe where the Traveler first landed,
the Traveler first
Nessus or something. Yeah, so let's give it up. But we've been talking a lot. I want to get Lord Sovereign.
I still have to touch on PvP real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, touch on PvP. Then we got Sovereign.
So
Sovereign
like,
chomping.
My PvP thing is like, you know, a lot of people are really skeptical with the 4v4. I agree. I feel like, you know, I personally love 4v4. I think they need to keep that as their competitive, you know, genre. But I think they need a casual playlist that's the same thing as the 4v4, but it's 6v6.
Yeah.
I think all the weapons are way more balanced than they've ever been. You know, with your leader abilities, you can have really like me and, you know, Big Bad John 77. We were playing both Titans. He had the little barrier, I had the big barriers. So we would set them up side by side and have like literally a 45-degree angle shield, and he would get the left and then I'd get the right and center. So like I like the, you know, the symmetry behind that. You know, the power ammo makes it to where you're not getting bullshit killed all the time. So I think if you would scale 1 to 10. You know, Destiny 1 was like a 6 or a 5 or 6 because there's a lot of problems with Destiny 1's multiplayer. And Destiny 2 is like a 7 to 9 because it's that fluid, but it's just the beta. That Bungie has plenty of time to mess everything up.
To mess everything up.
Yeah, no faith. Cool. Lord Sovereign, the Destiny connoisseur that you are not. I'm dying for your opinion on this beta.
All right, so let's start with the initial story mission, Homecoming. So got in there. Honestly, graphically, it looks great to me, fantastic to me. The rain effects, it ran smoothly. The gunplay is still on point.
Soundtrack is lit.
Yeah, the soundtrack is definitely lit. When you get to the tower and you're defending the tower with Zavala and you see all of this Red Legion just dropping and dropping and dropping, I was expecting like slow down and craziness, and honestly, it came off without a hitch. It was beautiful. So I was very impressed with that. One thing that I'm kind of dissenting on in comparison to what you guys were talking about is story-wise. Like story-wise, I'm confident they're gonna have a lot more story. Okay. But maybe it's the in me though. Like I'm not big on the one-liners, like the dominant statements, and like it comes off. It comes off like overly corny, like, you know, Cade one-liners. Even Zavala with all of these, like, show them what a Guardian is, and just like stuff like that. Like,
I'm not feeling that. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Like, I get it. I get it in the context of it, but it doesn't resonate with me. Same thing with Ghaul. When Ghaul caught you up at the top of the tower and he kicks you off, he says some real dominant stuff to you, and I get it, but it just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel grounded to me. Obviously, when you're fighting space aliens and that, there's a certain level of suspension of disbelief. But I don't know, it's just like in the dialogue and stuff like that, it just seemed kind of over the top. And I hope that's not the whole thing. But in terms of the action, it seemed fantastic to me. The PvP that I played, I also suck at PvP. I'm horrible at PvP. But I'm going in. Honestly, I'm going in with like a Halo mentality, which you can't do in this. Because when, let's say I was playing Control. And so when you're playing Control, you're going through all these points, the A, B, C, and D or whatnot, and trying to control them. And it's like, I would just run in there with my face out all the time. And you can't really do that. Because in Halo, you run around and you can count on 2 or 3 of 2 different types of grenades to sort of strafe around, throw, and then injure people and then come in and pick people off. You can't do that in Destiny. You have one grenade that you have, and then you have to think about how you utilize that and then strafe around the area to try to pick people off. So in terms of strategy, it's different. So it took some getting used to. I got better towards the end, but I was still getting it handed to me.
Gotcha.
So it seemed fun. Like it seems like I can't really speak to how much of a jump it is from Destiny 1. I played some, and I played some Destiny 1 more recently. So all I can speak to is graphically, it looks better. It looks to be running better. It looks like it can handle more. And I just hope like everything they do include in terms of story is good story. It's just not like, you know, kind of popcorn sci-fi stuff.
No, this is good though. Go ahead, buddy.
They mentioned that that they felt like it may be too much story. So I don't know, what they meant by that statement, but hopefully it is good story.
The vibe I got. Continue, B-Man. I'm sorry.
No, I hope it's not just fluff. You know what I mean? I hope it's not just just nonsense. I hope it actually pertains to Destiny lore and really gets us in there.
What I want, and I think they need to really aim for when they do these Destiny expansions and the vanilla of Destiny 2 is whatever that expansion's about, because they got better towards the end of Destiny 1 with Rise of Iron. I want that entire the entire point of that expansion done. Like I feel like Destiny 2, the main story should be about you're fighting your way back to take the tower, back to take the last city, and you're trying to find Gary. I'm gonna call him Gary. I don't care. But you're trying to find him. You're trying to find out what's he doing, why is he there all of a sudden, and I hate how in the first one how they had multiple streams, and it's like they didn't know which one to pull, and it's like, stick to the same thing. Make sure you tell that thoroughly, because people won't come at you as hard if you explain the story you do explain well and not try to explain 5 different stories and half-ass.
Which is a good point, because it looks like they also eliminated the whole darkness in this, and they're really trying to focus on a centralized vision, villain, and focus on specific characters, which I like. And to Bmuny's point, what I'm also hearing is that the devs are saying they're gonna pack so much story and cinematics and exposition that they're hoping that we as a player get sick of it. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I have a little bit more confidence that they're gonna try to really focus on that, and hopefully they can address Lord Sovereign's issues with over the top.
It's like me and Lord Cognito. It's like we said, one of the biggest issues I had with Destiny 1 is the raids for the most part, they always seem to distant from the main story of whatever their, respective expansions came from. It's like, when you went into the Oryx, King's Fallen raid, there should have been a one-time cinematic that after you watch it once, you could skip it every time, or you can completely turn it off entirely, that explain why you're coming here. It's like, if people didn't know that, a Hive King has to be killed in his astral mind after you kill his physical body. No one knew that. To them, it seemed like they were going to fight Oryx twice when you weren't fighting Oryx twice. You fought him the first time, and then you had to go inside his whole dimension and kill him in there, because a Hive King cannot die unless he dies in there too. And it's just I feel like they don't especially Rise of Iron. No one understood why that dude was at the end of the raid. I don't even remember Vyrok.
Yeah. That's a good point. They've got to do a better job of transitioning the villain into the raid. And I think it should be fairly easy with Ghaul, right? I mean,
they could do something as simple as your vanguards talking to you over on the mics while you're doing the raid, explaining what's going. It's like the moment you go on that raid, all communication is up. You don't talk to anyone.
You're 100% right.
Absolutely.
It's like, imagine they could make that more immersive. You're walking up to Oryx and you hear what's the chick's name? The one that got stuck in the
talking about Eris?
Eris, yeah, I forgot her name. It's like, Eris is talking, she's like, I sense him, he's around, and the closer you get to, the more she is getting distorted, and she just completely cuts. Then you see Oryx climb the wall. Imagine how much immersive if you would have, she's talking, she's building up that hype that you're about to get, and then you see his big ass climb the ship.
I feel you. Look, the opportunities are there, the potential. I'm gonna jump in real quick, but I think all the Lords knocked it out the park. Bmuny knocked it out the park. I mean, I'm all in the same boat. When I touched the story mission, I was just very happy to have centralized character focus. Thought that was cool. Yes, Ikara had a moment. Lord King, yes, she did. Yep. Gave her moment. You know what I'm saying?
Zen.
Yeah, I love the whole idea of Ghaul feeling he's worthy of the light, and we are not. We,
you know what I'm saying? He seems upset. He's like, look,
yeah, it was almost like you got fat while we
you
stalled.
Didn't deserve it.
That's how I felt. He came through with the white pimp suit, and he was like,
his perspective pretty much is, the Traveler blessed humanity when they don't deserve its life.
Yeah, like why would you pick? Like you don't deserve it. You're weak. And one of the best things, shout out to Lord Demon, we had this conversation, is that I like when he roof your ghost. Like he roofed your ghost, and then your character reaches out, like no, because that like a crutch, and then kicks you up. Like to me, it was
he's pretty much like.
Yeah,
he's pretty much like, even with light, you're still worthless.
Exactly. So I love that whole bit, and just kind of like the rebuilding thing. And then obviously story wise, it gave us a reason why the tower was blowing up, weapons are being on. As far as the gameplay itself, felt the gameplay was really tight. I got one negative though, as far as like the multiplayer was great, tactical. I think class abilities changed the game. Warlock having the rifts now, what I'm saying, the Titans with the barriers. I know some hunters are a little upset. Shout out to Lord Sinister. I know he's not necessarily feeling the dodge, but a lot of people, shout out to Lord Kaibatsu, shout out to Lord Zero, Lord Demon, that are hunters, and they're like, look, that dodge when you get the automatic reload is very important. And they're saying that the class is all about evasion now, and if you master that, you can, with the agility and stuff, is going to be great.
It's like, like the way I see that hunters are supposed to be, used is, you're in a one-on-one gunfight, and both of you run out of ammo. You just shade step, bam, he's done, because you just reloaded your ammo. And if you're fighting a Titan, he's going to take a second. So you literally just have an advantage because you have 2 clips pretty much.
Yeah. So with that whole being said, I thought I actually was in agreement with Bmuny coming in. I'm like, I don't know about 4s. I'm gonna be honest. I was very skeptical about 4s. I love 6s, and when I played it, I'll be honest, I almost forgot about 4s for a while. Like I guess it felt balanced in the sense that I didn't have to worry about just random dudes popping the corner with a super, getting jumped every time. I felt
having 4 less supers means a lot.
Yeah, I felt tactics really played a factor, and it went back to primary gunplay, like in the sense that, like, before with Destiny, it's like, I'll throw this sticky grenade and one hit kill you. I'll do all this other, like, kind of, I don't call it cheap, but that one hit kill foolishness where you don't even get a chance.
Everybody running around with shotguns.
Yeah, and just, like having the shotgun and the rocket launchers and the snipers and the heavy slot, I felt is huge because now, and then the other little nuance is when you go get that heavy, it's only for that one individual now. You know what I mean?
Right. Shout out to Glowing Kings.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Boss in the chat. But it's like that to me, like, so now, it's not like everyone just sitting there campfiring around the heavy box and we all good. Like, no, like somebody can come and take the heavy and that only that one person benefits. So it just adds another layer to it. So I'm really cool with it. Ultimately though, I will agree with Bmuny in this though. I want 6s for Iron Banner though. I think Iron Banner would be kind of whack without 6s. How you feel about that, Bmuny?
Yeah, I think the 6s are necessary, man. Especially Iron Banner. I mean, once everybody gets in there and they got all the great loot and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't got nothing good, you're getting trashed. So,
but yeah, it's like they've done this in the past. It's like, look, like if you do competitive 4v4, if you do casual 6v6, so like it's not hard. They did it in Halo, but it wasn't 6, it was 5. 5v5 for casual playlists and 4v4 for competitive.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with it story-wise, and obviously the raid, with Ghaul, and see where they go with that. But that's pretty much what I got on it. Unless the Lords got anything else they want to add with any improvements to the Destiny 2 beta. And obviously the social space is available right now, but of course everyone's in the chat not going to do that because they're going to listen to the ILP right there. But on that note,
I heard it went live after we hang up.
Yeah, no, I heard it's live now actually, 1 p.m.
No, I was just saying that so they can't go.
Oh yeah, I heard it's 5 p.m. Eastern. That's what I heard too.
One thing I didn't like quickly about the inverted spire was like some of that platforming is like suspect. Like they need to, I don't know, that whole part where you had to like blow up the turbines and you couldn't really see where you had to go, and then you platform from one end to the other. Like some of the platforming, I don't know if in Destiny 1 it was crisper or it made more sense in terms of
it was just exploration. That you wanted exploration, right? Find your way there.
It was just like
No, I know what you're talking about. I had some dudes. I just did it right now, and I had some dudes that got lost. I don't know where they went. They went strictly to the right, and I just went straight through the hole. And it is what it is.
Well, I know you can walk around. You don't necessarily have to go in one direction. You can mess around and then follow the story path in the strike. But it was just like. It was just certain things, like in terms of the platform, I was just like, I don't know. It just kind of felt out of place.
So, Lord Saw, we got a little bit more to convince you, it seems. Just a little bit more.
Well, he already pre-ordered. He is right in. He's in. That's it. Got your money. Your money's on the table.
Let's see. So, on that note, we've got the Destiny 2 beta out of our system. We're going to move on. And I want to bring this over to Lord King. And talk about Grandpa Nintendo. What has he been cooking up this week?
Well, to my dismay, I'm sorry, guys. I did not know that Splatoon launched on Friday. I'm sorry. I'm guilty as charged. But Grandpa Nintendo, in launching of Splatoon, launched their vaunted chat system. Nintendo reinvented the wheel, fellas. Like the wheel we had wasn't good enough, but their wheel is made of a square because it's a nice block. They're trying to get down the street, blocking it. What was they thinking? Like I really, I knew it was convoluted. Also, shout out to me because I told y'all in the beginning. I said, listen.
Yes, you did.
All the devs is saying that they don't have that chat feature, and everybody was like, "Nah, you just plug it in the top, and it has a audio jack inside."
Shots fired at Lord Cognito.
Yes, I didn't want to hang you out there to dry like that, but it has an audio jack, and I'm gonna buy the headset. We went on about this for a long period of time, and he was like, "There's no way Nintendo's that stupid. Come on." I said, listen, they are that stupid. I have the facts. The Reddit said they are as stupid as we thought they were. And I said, just wait and see, and you're going to see. It was no bet, guys. It was no ILP bet. It was just, I told you so. That's I didn't want it to be real, but what I'm getting from a lot of the devs and a lot of the community is the factual nature about the system. Now, the fact that this app, for those people that don't know, you need to have your phone, the headset, and a Switch. Okay? You need to have all three devices for you to have the chat function in-game only.
Imagine having like 6 or 7 people using the Switch. It's gonna look like a data room.
Exactly. It looks like you walking around with servers. The problem with this is not in the menu system, not in outside of gameplay. Does the chat works? It only works in gameplay. So not outside of the boot up, you can get together how we're talking. It doesn't work. It only works in game. That within itself is a huge problem. I thought it was just a smaller problem with the fact that you needed to use your cell phone. Now, what Nintendo wanted to do is take away the processing power from the system because the system is underpowered when it comes to these next generation games that we take for granted that, have the chat and stuff like that. Now, I know everybody is saying, but the 360 did it, and the Switch is more powerful than the 360. The PlayStation 2 had some form of whatever, and it's more powerful than that. The PSP is more powerful than that. What Nintendo did not put inside the system is it can receive, it cannot give. You understand?
From my understanding, I just want to jump real quick. From my understanding is either one or two things. No one's not entirely sure as far as like, well, obviously we know from a memory standpoint, they should be able to do it. The issue comes down to from an OS and a multitasking standpoint, was that in place that they can actually have something in the background? Because when I hear things like, if you have the chat app on, but you get a phone call, the voice chat disconnects. Like that to me is just poor software programming. Like I don't understand how that works. So to me, I would hate to say that they're unable to do that, because clearly they have the resources. It has more resources than a Vita, more resources than all these older antiquated systems that was able to do it. So why can't they do it? To me, that's the big question, and that's the mystery still a little bit.
Well, I want the other lords to jump in.
Absolutely.
And my thought of it, to be honest with you, I don't look at Nintendo as far as pushing the boundaries and technical excellence as far as capabilities of what a system can do. Mm-hmm. And when I expound on that, you see how you pull up the menu system inside your Xbox, and your Xbox can multitask while bringing in the signal from the TV by also remembering what you was watching on YouTube. Yes. Like you can go right back into the YouTube app, and it goes right back into the video that you was watching. It was like it paused that video, but you went and you played a quick game, and you came back and it was still there. Or you jumped into another app and you saw like stars or something, and you went back and that other app was still there.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, don't have the engineers that built a user interface that was able to do the multitasking, or they don't deem it important.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. Shout out to Lord Fastback in the chat. He said they're better off sending pigeons to each other for a better communication.
Game of Thrones. The Twitch version.
Let's get the Lords in on this one.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I think the most disappointing thing about this whole thing is that you have DNA right there in your backyard doing all of your mobile gaming. These guys are experts at multitasking with mobile platforms. What are you doing? Why would you not let them get in there and just make sure this thing works properly? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't care what kind of BS Reggie throws out that they wanted, that what they wanted to do with the platform. It wasn't feasible for them or viable for them to do it. They wanted to make sure that experience was separate from that. And like Lord King said, they may not think is that important. The problem is that when you release something like this undercooked peripheral and this whole undercooked server, you release it with a game that primarily supports it, with a game that would thrive even more with that functionality in place. And then, so what you're saying is that you don't care about all the new people that are going to be invested in Splatoon and Mario Kart and all that stuff. You're just speaking to the people that were used to how it worked before on the Wii U. It just doesn't make any sense, man. It honestly, like sometimes they take 2 steps forward and they take 3 back sometimes. Like it's painful to watch because
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just when you look at that peripheral, that big giant, like, what is that, man? Like,
who's doing that? Who's doing that?
I don't know.
Nintendo's doing it.
You're an idiot. Like it. Love me money. I need you. Now, love me money. We're Switch Gang, correct?
That's right, man. All day. Got right. Day one,
gang,
man.
Gang. My man. All right. So look, I need you to talk me off the edge, Lord P Money. What's going on with Nintendo and this app, man? What's your impressions when the news came out and what you saw?
Like when they first announced the Switch, like I'm like, all right, everything's gonna be good. They had the headphone jack on, like King David said. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? They're gonna have some chat on there, like everything's good. And then they came out with the news, like they didn't have no Bluetooth. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? What we gonna do without no Bluetooth? How I'm gonna, chill on the couch, you know what I mean? Play the Switch. So then there's like, oh well, they're gonna have an app for chat. I'm like, okay, so maybe that's just like, you got to use your phone for like mobile hotspot. So if you're out in the park or something, you can still get in with your boys, still be able to chat. And then they was like, no, that's the only way you chat. I'm like, what? How?
It's like every time they're like, we're not done.
Yeah, like this is a 2017 device. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that came out like 5 years ago got chat on it. Like the 3DS. You know what I mean? You could, or you know what I mean? At least the Vita you could chat on. Like, why is it that the Vita got like no games on it? You know what I mean? They ain't put no new content on it, but it's a better device that just came out in 2017. Like, it makes absolutely no sense.
Absolutely.
Like,
I
just picked up Splatoon, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I'm getting in there, I'm doing my thing, but like the other people I'm playing with, they don't really understand the objective. So it's like, I can't even send them a message. I can't even send them a message on the screen and be like, yo, you know what I mean? Go this way or do that or whatever. It's just like, what is going on, man? It makes absolutely no sense.
One of these kids is doing his own thing.
let me bring this to the Lord. I know I'm about to get into this too. But like, okay, so we understand. We're all in agreement. This is the stupidest decision ever, right? We're all in that agreement. My question is, why though? What I want us to dig deeper, like as Lord's like on the round table, like why do you think they are so antiquated with this specific function? I have a theory, but I want to tell you. Oh no, the only reason why my theory is this. I think that it's almost like a internal struggle. Like there's the new Nintendo, right, who makes this great device. The Switch, for all intents and purposes, is amazing tech, right? It's really a cool device and the functionality it can do. And then you got this other branch of Nintendo that does the bonehead stuff, like Lord Cogntio, we affectionately call Calvin. Anybody that makes stupid decisions in boardrooms, whenever you can name Calvin, we call him Calvin. Like Calvin, like, you know what would be hot? If you have a Switch app and they don't even use the system and they use it separate from the device. And then if you get a call, your voice chat interrupts. So you like that's Calvin.
How Calvin works is he works at half the price of the real good dudes. So, so when you pay Calvin,
hold on. This is not Calvin. Calvin would be a star employee at Nintendo. Don't put
no doubt. Calvin would be, no doubt. Calvin
always works up to the level of competition. Trust me when I tell you this. Calvin did the CGI in Batman versus Superman, and he took over the rest of the end of the movie because they had to cut costs, and they paid Calvin to get in there. Trust me when I tell you, Calvin works the spec.
So my theory with this whole thing is it's got to be the old regime, and the only thing I could think of, and shout out to Spawn Wave Media, he made a good video recently, and Shokio, I want to give him a shout too. The only thing I get is that I think they're still in this mindset that we are a kid's device, and we want to separate that and not make it easy for the kids to jump online. Like I still get this feeling like, you know, call me if you think I'm wrong here, that they are still in that battle, and this is why they're going these extra steps to try to isolate the situation. Lord Addict, what do you feel about all this, man?
Come back to me.
All right, I thought back to Bmuny. What do you feel about the argument towards like parental controls and them trying to be a family system?
I think there's definitely still some power control over at Nintendo, you know what I mean? It's the tug of war is definitely still going on there, you know what I mean? They do like 3 good things and then they do one horrible thing, and that, you know what I mean, defeats the whole purpose of the 3 good things they just did. So
you're giving them 3 good things?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like they're doing like 1 good thing and 5 things to back it,
which is amazing. The games that they release have been, you know what I mean, top sellers every time.
Yes, sir.
So, you know what I mean, like I got to give them credit there, but you know what I mean, when it comes to this you know, the voice chat, like this is nonsense. You know what I mean, like this is totally unacceptable. I don't know who's working over there, you know, in their offices, but they need to get it right, man. Like I don't understand it. It's definitely a power struggle, and hopefully the new regime takes over in this next year, because I'm telling you, if they don't get it right in this next year, in 2018 going into 2019, they're gonna have a problem. Like everybody's riding a wave right now, but you're right, it'll die off.
The only logical explanation is that when they started developing the Switch, it wasn't something that they thought of from the beginning. So implementing it now is not an easy thing to do. That's the only logical thing. And honestly, the fact that they even started developing the Switch without this sort of stuff in mind is, again, it's a Nintendo thing. They're not thinking about it. So, but beyond that, in terms of them wanting to keep it more kid friendly. I can sort of see that, but at the same time, to me, the most important thing to Nintendo beyond, you know, putting out their hardware, to me, is their software, is their IP, and the fact they've allowed you know, young bloods to get in there and start developing on their beloved IP and the old sort of.
I thought the Ubisoft thing, was a huge thing from Nintendo. Like that to me showed growth to allow Mario to be on an XCOM kind of IP for you. That would never be done before with Nintendo. It's and like just being open to third-party developers, like you said, Lord, so I was making a great point. They do things that you say, man, this is innovative. This is growth. This is them getting with the times, and then we get the voice chat.
Well, you know, some people didn't die at Nintendo yet, so you gotta wait for them to die off. You gotta bury these dinosaurs, you know, because these old folks are strong. Anybody that thought not putting Bluetooth in the box and this is a goal. It's something fundamentally wrong with you that this is a portable system, but there's no Bluetooth involved. Like that should go hand in hand. Did you not want to pay the copyright to Bluetooth?
This is why it seems like it's something deeper than that, because if you look at it, to me, they have a stranglehold over everything they do. So all these same old dudes had a hand in this DNA thing that they had with mobile gaming, and that opened them up to a whole slew of different things, like, you know, with Miitomo, with Pokemon Go, Mario Run. They're exposing themselves out there. This is something that they never allowed to happen before. Exactly. So it's like, to me, it's like it's these same guys making those decisions. So to me, like I said, the only logical thing is that it's something they can't actually implement because of how they developed the system from the jump. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Otherwise, it is the biggest bonehead move.
How about this? How about you sell a headset, a Nintendo proprietary made headset with Plantronics, shout out to Plantronics, with a Bluetooth adapter that fits at the top of the Switch that can receive and send VoIP.
Sign me up. Yeah. How about just making a Discord or a Skype app on the damn system so we can use that? And have
wait. You said add video or audio onto the system. You said
add the app.
Shout out to the Nookie app.
At this point, they should just start bundling an Xbox PSN card with every Switch and be like, use our competitor's voice chat because that's the only way you're getting it.
Well, they're using the Xbox servers, aren't they? Using the servers for the cross-play game. What is
Minecraft?
Yeah. So it's not far-fetched. You just said something that's probably very viable to them.
We'll see. We shall see. But
engineers over there to work on a user interface. How about that?
Lord, Eddie, you got anything else to finish off with this?
All right, I'm gonna not try to go on a too big of a rant. All right, it's gonna be hard, but I don't get like. Look, like they take a step forward and then they jump 2 staircases back, and take a step forward and jump 2 staircases back. Like, look, what is the point in having an online infrastructure of anything? They're like, oh, they're only charging you $20. I wouldn't give $5 for that piece of shit service. Like, what? Look,
language.
I just don't understand. Like, you can't send party invites. This is how the Switch should work. All right, you log on. You know, it should have, you know, achievement, trophy support, and their own little thing. And it's not even a lot. Like, we don't even ask for a lot. We just want to have like this same, you know, not on the same par even. It's like, this is what I expect from the Switch. It's touchscreen. I expect to get on the Switch and be like, oh, look, Lord Cognito's on. Click his little thing, his profile pops up. Click send invite to party, and then it goes to my phone, and it starts a party, and it sends him an invite to his phone. Problem solved. But you know what they want you to do? All right, I'm playing Escapist 2 when it comes out for the Switch. Lord Cognito is playing Splatoon. So it's like, oh, do you want to be? So I got it. It's like they have game chat. Who has an app to have game chat? I don't get that.
It's retarded. It should be cross-platform chat across the board in the background. Point blank period.
And you know, like, what's the point? It's like regardless how successful the Switch is doing, something like this is a deal breaker to me. It is, and it's like after I've seen this, because you guys remember, I said on this podcast multiple times that I'm not going to completely lash out at the app. I want to see what the app is. I said, it could be a revolutionary thing. It could, it could make its competitors do something like it.
You were being patient.
I did not share that same enthusiasm.
But there's a couple things. No, it could have been lit.
Enthusiastic. He was just like, I'm gonna wait. I gotta see it.
Imagine an app.
That optimism.
It should be on the system and the app. But I understand why they do an app. Because it's portable. It's not your average day console. It's portable. So they want to be able to take that experience with you wherever you go, and everyone's got a smartphone. So I can understand why they wanted an app. Okay. But what it needed to be done is it needs to be, it needs to be backgroundable. It needs to be playing the background. Doesn't do that. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. So that's pretty much.
But Lord Addict, don't you think at some point in time, being that it's an app, that they can do maintenance to the app and update the app from time to time?
I don't care. That should have been on launch. They already get a strike. That should have been on launch. You can't use an app for a party feature and make it where any app, like you get a text, bam, you're done. I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah,
Messenger. You have to you get a message on Messenger. So you have to leave the app, go reply to your messenger, then go back on the app. You get a phone call, bam, you're done, off the app. Like, it makes no sense by that. Like what they should have been like, been like, 5 or 6 tiles. It's like, set up your party, send people invites.
They did say in the beginning of the app that the app is very jealous and selfish.
Oh Lord.
I don't care how selfish it is. I don't give 2 shits how selfish it is. Nintendo, to me, has gotten to the point with me, like, every day it's something negative. Every day, and it's gotten to the
there. No, I understand what you said about that.
I feel like every time I see these people, on the news, it's something negative.
Wait, let's slow that down. Let's backtrack. What on the news has been negative outside of the Nintendo Chat app?
What's been positive besides the sales of their games?
Well, they've been dropping games. So what's been negative?
Been positive besides the
Splatoon 2, Armed, besides games? That's what you want to know? What's positive besides games?
What's been positive besides the games that we knew was
what's been positive besides game system making games?
Why don't you answer my question? Why knew these games were showing up? What has been
Arms?
Splatoon
2.
Okay, so that's 2.
Mario Rabbids.
It's been out for 6 months. That's not out yet. You can't talk about stuff that's not.
I just gave you 6.
But see, you're talking about cells in 2 games.
It's a game system.
5 months, we have cells in 2 games. That's all you have. That's your entire argument.
It's a game system. What are they supposed to do?
It's supposed to. Okay,
this fact is not CNN worthy.
They have no interaction with Netflix and Hulu. They don't have any kind of.
But we talked about that.
They ain't gonna do that because it's gonna expose them, man.
Okay, they have no access to an app. You have to use an app every time that they talk about anything that is standard for the 21st century. It's always negative. Nintendo is so far behind. To be honest with you guys, they'll never catch up. They will never.
But we have to wait till the old people die off.
It doesn't matter. By the time the old people die off, all what's going to happen is they're going to be doing 21st century shit. We're going to be doing like 26th century shit. They're going to be so behind that.
I want to ask Lord Addict a question. I hear where you're coming from. So let's get that out the way. And Lord Chief Tommy's made a real good point as far as obviously the Xbox. We had a topic a couple while back about systems that drop that have all these features, right? I believe it was Lord King. You know what I'm saying? So it basically comes down to, do you want your system to be game focused, or do you want your system to be app and feature focused? And based on what you're saying,
I want my system
like
to do
that
both.
Nintendo's doing that. But in this sense, hold on, let me finish. In this sense, they're the complete opposite of Xbox, because the cry of Xbox right now is they don't have any original IPs, right? That's the word on the street.
All right, imagine, let's say that Xbox is dropping bomb games, but they had no party system. They had no infrastructure to have a multiplayer. Right. They had only game chat through an app. would not care about their games. They're say, why can't I do the shit I'm doing on PlayStation?
But that's a feature that's important to you, right? That's a feature
that's important in gaming.
Not necessarily, because
so game chat is game chat, party chat, friends list, any interaction with messaging. That's not important to gaming.
I'm not saying it's not important to gaming, but there are some people. Look at the sales reflect that people, despite all these things that you want and that you're complaining about, people are still buying the Switch.
I'm just complaining because I want them to do shit that is stable.
But here's the thing. In this sense, you are the minority in the sense that the people still don't care what you're saying. They're still buying it.
Yep. It's still not on the shelf.
They're still buying it. That's what I'm trying to say. So the people have spoken that it's not as important as you think it is.
That's what I'm saying is it's a 2017 product, and the PlayStation 4 is already starting to beat it every month.
Okay, but they beat the Xbox, so to speak.
That's because it's available, but let these systems become available. This is the same rehash conversation.
I guess we just ain't gonna agree on this conversation.
We might as well just disagree. I just think it's one of those things where we all have our priorities as to what we want from a system. You know what I mean? And for Lord Addict, I get it. He's like, yo, I want party chat. I want these features. I want apps. I want all these things. And I get it. So for him, he's cooling on it because he's like, look, you guys should have had this. This is a big blow to him. And I'm not going to minimize this. It's a huge blow to people who are on the fence also.
I would say out of the gaming community, it's a blow to 60 to 70% of the population.
I'm not going to see those are blanket statements.
It's basic stuff that its competition has been thriving for the past 15 years.
Okay. I can say this, right?
The MPD numbers.
I can say this.
Because it's a brand new product. It came out 4 or 5 months ago. It's gorgeous.
It should cool off then. Now that this information is out, right? They shouldn't win another MPD again per you.
Is anybody in here selling it because the app?
Lord Addict is selling it.
No, I mean today. Is anybody walking out the door saying, "All right, let me get rid of this system because I can't chat with my friends"?
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at it from the perspective.
That's myself.
It's having almost identical paths that the Wii U had.
I'm not going there.
No, the first year the Wii U got to like 4. It was like 8 million in the first 2 years of its cycle, and then it just died.
Did the Wii U have the software lineup that the Switch has per month and for the rest of the year?
But we're talking about sales wise. That's what you said, that people are buying it, so we're talking about sales.
Right, and they are. Okay, so
people picked up the Wii U for nothing. And
when do we determine when it's different than the Wii U? When do I get to say it is not the same? What do you need to see from the Switch that we can say now it's a definitive success? It is different from when you tell me what's the criteria so I can meet it and we can have this bet. I want your money.
I was waiting for the bet to show up because we already had this conversation before.
Gang, and I respect that. And I just want to know, when is the criteria that I win this? That I say it's different, it's successful, it's better than the Wii U, and it's going to be around. That's what I want to know. So tell me what I need to have for my criteria for this bet.
Okay. No, checks, please. But on a side note, Lord Cognito, was we bundling the whatchamacallit with this, or were we going to go to a whole nother topic?
Let's go, because we actually went on too much of a tangent. Apologize to listeners. The Lord's get a little hot and heavy. Apologize to Lord Addict, not trying to go for him, but we get passionate sometimes. But let's move on, because we'll go on all day with the Switch app and everything, the foolishness of grandfather Nintendo. Lord Sovereign, let's get into the news with Casey Hudson. What's been going on with Lord Casey there? I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, so this past week, it was announced that the Bioware GM Aaron Flynn was stepping down after a number of years at the company. And replacing him was going to be Casey Hudson, coming back after leaving Bioware 3 years ago to go work on HoloLens at Microsoft. And now he's coming back as the GM to sort of take over the reins of what Bioware is going to be moving forward. I think considering the reception that Mass Effect Andromeda got, the timing is a little kind of, I guess good for Bioware, because it seems, even if you can't put the onus of everything that happened with Mass Effect on Aaron Flynn, the fact that you have a name like Casey Hudson coming back, the director of all 3 original Mass Effect games, the director of KOTOR and Jade Empire. I guess the perception is that having this guy at the helm now is going to right the ship for Bioware in terms of producing quality, story-driven games, especially with Anthem coming out. The expectation is that now with Casey Hudson back, that the handprint that he's going to put on Anthem is going to put it over the top. And with people talking about how Anthem is in the same vein as something like a Destiny, and all the criticisms weighed against Destiny about not having story, and what they're doing with Destiny 2, I think it at least to show that they have a vested interest in making Anthem the best product it can be. The fact that Casey Hudson is back means a lot to people who care about Bioware and Bioware games. So it's a big step. To me, it's a big step, and it's a big positive.
Absolutely. Any of the Lords want to jump in this on the Casey Hudson returning to Bioware news?
Well, I'm waving a flag, happy that he's showing up, because I didn't purchase Andromeda. I didn't purchase Andromeda from the standpoint of what I saw, what was going on. The fact when they switched over to the Frostbite engine, it just, stuff looked off at first. I mean, the Frostbite engine, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic engine, but I also know that growing pains from jumping from one engine to the next engine will be evident, and it was evident in the facial features of a lot of the characters and the blank stares. It took away from the story, from what I was hearing and what I was reading leading up to the launch of the game. So if something doesn't sit well with me, I'm not going to give them my money. I'm going to vote with my dollars, and I'm going to wait for it to come inside EA Access.
Okay.
That's what I paid for EA Access for.
Nice.
And when the game launches in EA Access, then I'll see. But if I don't see that initial or hear initial positive things about games, and all I'm hearing is negative on top of negative, I'm not going to give the money. And the fact that Casey's coming back and he's the originator of the first 3, I'm down with that. And I love Jade Empire, so hopefully with him at the helm, Jade Empire can actually get a release. That'd be nice for us. So I think it's in great hands. And I think the company needs this kick, because Andromeda was such a disappointment. And I know it was a disappointment sales-wise, and I know a lot of devs lost their job because of Andromeda.
Absolutely. Lord Bmuny, what do you feel about the Casey Hudson announcement to Bioware?
I'm just glad he's coming back. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of bounced around a little bit the past couple of years. Jade Empire was my first Bioware game.
Yes.
I got much love for Jade Empire. I've been for that game to return, and I talked to Mike Ledlow, who also works over at EA.
Nice.
He's one of the guys who kind of run the Dragon Age team and stuff like that. And he keeps the fire lit that Jade Empire may come back one day. So hopefully, with Casey coming back and them shelving Mass Effect for a while, we might see that. But I got super excited when he was at Microsoft for a while, because I thought maybe that he would do something there, and then he was put on the HoloLens team, and I
remember the HoloLens
disappointment. Right? You know what I mean, for me, because he's such a great visionary for games and putting great stories out there. I thought it was kind of wasted, for me on the HoloLens.
Absolutely, 1000% agree with you.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad he's back at EA. He's at the helm. This does mean a lot for Anthem, because and a lot of the interviews they talked about how Anthem may not have that in depth of a story. It's more about playing with your friends and having fun and things like that. So hopefully he steers that ship in a different direction, give it some deep lore, and give it something to build on, because it is supposed to be a 10-year game similar to what Destiny is. So hopefully he really fleshes that out. But hopefully this means a lot for Mass Effect too. You know what I mean? So hopefully, they can right the ship there and maybe, reboot it again. I don't know if they'll come out with Andromeda 2 or wherever the case is, but maybe they'll look to take that in a different direction. But
my question is, did Microsoft let him off on? Because usually when people's contracts and stuff is up, like that hits the gaming news. You know, here is someone going to go somewhere else because he's a big name in the industry.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that you didn't hear nothing, it's like, did Microsoft let him out of a contract to have good ties in with EA still?
It's a good question
because he had enough leverage. I'm assuming he had plenty of leverage when he went over there to be able to say, listen, we're going to do this on a year-to-year basis. And
I don't know, because when he went over there, it wasn't really sign of desperation, but you know, he's got a big background. He said, I will not do games. He pretty much said that. I want to spend time with my family. I do not want to work on games.
Yeah.
And going to Microsoft and having someone as big as talented as him, it's like, you know, there has to be a reason Microsoft took him. I don't know if it was like, you know, they figured maybe he would spend a little bit time on, you know, VR, you know, their HoloLens, and then maybe go to a studio. Like, there's a lot of people having videos and stuff to, like, I understand why Microsoft would have a talent like him and waste him. I don't think that was Microsoft's that was Microsoft's choice. Like, he's a big talent regardless.
Yeah, I want to jump in on this too, Lord Addict. I'm actually 100% agreement with you because, you know, shout out to Lord Bmuny with what he said as far as him being put on the HoloLens project. I thought that was a waste. I was like, you're gonna get this big talent, and this is what he's going to be doing, you know, that kind of thing. But then to his defense, personally, he didn't want to work on games anymore, like what Alex said. But then for him now to just, you know, obviously be able to get out of that situation with Microsoft and now come back to Bioware, to me, again, this is me guessing, I'm inferring, I have no inside information. I just feel that I think Bioware must have backed the truck up, because if you look at what's been going on with Mass Effect Andromeda, right, and the negative reception, just the future of the series, let's be honest. I mean, Andromeda had some scars, and it definitely affected the future, and now the whole focus is now directed towards Anthem. So you now have Hasty Hudson back on board now with Bioware as a whole.
I don't think he's going to have a whole lot of fingerprints on Anthem. I think their next
right, it's already in place. It's already in place. But I mean, he'll get to touch a little bit. You know, he'll maybe get a compliment. But I agree with you. That's already.
Chief, Scalebound is done. Stop with that nonsense.
Exactly. And I think that ultimately, though, I think this really bodes. I really think it really bodes well for Mass Effect's future to come back. And that, to me, is what I care about the most, honestly. I mean, and don't get me wrong. Anthem, I feel, I'll be honest, you know, I'm a Destiny guy, and all these dudes out here, Anthem's the Destiny.
Yeah, him coming back, pretty much guaranteed that Mass Effect's coming eventually. Like, I think if he wouldn't have came back, I think Mass Effect might have died.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mass Effect was DOA. Again, this is all speculation, it's all opinion. And I think this was their way to kind of get the original A-team guy, because he was the A-team. This was the guy behind Mass Effect, not this B team of devs and all this other stuff. And it doesn't hurt to have Anthem, you know, have him overlooking Anthem, even though Anthem's already done. So that's how I feel about it.
Going back to the reason why he was on HoloLens, I think that was all him. I mean, he
requested.
He's absolutely. I mean, he started out. His degree is in mechanical engineering, so you know, he wanted to go to work on that tech. Both from a hardware and software perspective.
Wow,
and that, you know, so it wasn't, you know, it's not the same rigors as being, you know, the director of a game where you basically have no time to yourself. So that's what, you know,
wrong. Microsoft didn't throw him in the dungeon and say, work on this.
No. I was wrong. I think he had plenty of leverage going into that situation to say what he wanted to do. I think the most exciting, besides the fact that him coming back gives some hope to Mass Effect coming back. Also Star Wars, man. Like Star Wars, obviously we won't get a KOTOR because both KOTOR games are not canon. And since Disney took over every project they put out, they want it to be canon. So, but the fact that there still is no talk of a new Star Wars RPG, all these other Star Wars games that are coming out are shooters, are, you know, third-person action games with Amy Hennig's game. Like, there's no RPG. And if there's anybody that you want to put that type of game in front of, it's a Casey Hudson. So,
do you think the impetus of his return was because he saw his child that he helped make being butchered in the street, and just left for dead and said, well, you know, I'll go back and help nurse it back to life or something? Because
Absolutely.
I mean, it must have hurt him to see.
I had to in some respect, yeah.
It had to, because you remember, like him, like the fact that, remember, he had such great success with Mass Effect 1 and 2, and he caught such flack for 3 because of the ending of 3. 3, for all intents and purposes, is a great game,
right?
But
up until then,
the ending of the game, and he's the one who got out in front of that. He's the one that took the brunt of the punishment for that stuff, and he took it on the chin from everybody for that. So the fact that he was able to weather that, even though, like me personally, I didn't like the fact that they retconned that stuff and then put in another ending. I didn't like that. You just stick to your guns, man. You know, you made the game. That's it.
It was too much flack, man. I was about to say shout out to the fact that he put that DLC for that ending.
I like a little bit more exposition. I did like a little bit more.
No, I feel that. I feel that just the fact that it went down the way it went down, and the fact that he had to respond to that, but he took it on the chin. So for him to leave and for them to continue on, and then it just seems like they didn't realize that the mistakes they made with that and try to make it better. They just sort of gave you a middling product. And again, I mean, there's been a lot of speculation as to why that happened and development cycle for that game and whatnot. So yeah, absolutely. If he has the opportunity to resurrect it and bring Mass Effect back to where it was, I would take that opportunity. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Great topic, Losa. And if everyone's done, let's move on to the next one. And I want to bring this over to Lord B-Money himself. He wanted to talk about these holiday releases, right, B-Money? What's going on with your topic?
Yeah, man. So the topic that I wanted to bring to the table was, you know, is the holiday release as important as it used to be? With so many more games releasing in the early spring now, you know, does it make more sense for more games to release in the spring? And is the holiday season, you know, as important? You know, I mean, when you look at the last holiday season and even this holiday season, it seems like we mostly just got the big shooter. You know, for Microsoft, we had Forza, you know, that stands out every year because that kind of releases a little bit earlier before the actual holiday season comes out or is considered to be holiday season. So, but when you look at the holiday season, it's mostly just filled with, you know, your Call of Duties, your Battlefields, Battlefront now, since that has come back. But other than that, I mean, there's not too many big games, you know, super big games that you look forward to in the holiday season. A lot of them have been pushed to the spring, and you know, just looking at this year's spring was crazy, and then you look into next year's spring is crazy. You know, we got Red Dead and Far Cry, and you know, some of the biggest games from PlayStation, and even, you know, Microsoft has moved some of their games to spring with, you know, Sea of Thieves and, you know, State of Decay. So a lot of big games coming out at the beginning of the year and not so much at the end of the year. So I just wanted to see what you guys' take was on that and how you feel, you know, the game industry is changing with releases.
Absolutely. Great topic. Any one of the Lords wants to jump in? I know I got stuff to say on this too.
Well, I can tell you why they moved it to the spring. Income tax. I don't care what you say, man. Them Ghetto bucks go far. They realize that when are these people spending the most money? Ghetto bucks time. Them checks coming in. When the Ghetto bucks hit, you know they get whatever's in the street, baby. So for that short period of time when they're spending like they hit the lotto, have your game in the street. It doesn't make any sense to wait for Christmas. They don't have any money by that time. But Ghetto Bucks time is time for these people to go splurge. So get them before they cop them. Yeah, get them before they cop them Jordans. Get them before they buy that chain or get the new iPhone or what they gonna buy. Because you never notice the drop at the same time the income taxes come in. You gotta really start looking at this. And somebody shout out to every developer and every big company that said, yo, this is the time where there's a lot of free cash. All the sales go up, car sales. That's right. Get that money back. We gotta put that money back into the system. Get the checks back in here. So trust me when I'm telling you, it has everything to do with disposable income at that period of time. And they know that the game sales, the Switch flew off the shelves for them Ghetto bucks. Trust me when I'm telling you.
Listen, Lord King, I know I clouded you. I know sometimes I feel you over the top. But there's some truth to what you're saying. I can't lie. There's some truth. Shout out to the chat. Yo, the chat is loving you right now. Shout out to all the
Ghetto bucks, baby.
People saying that income tax is real, you know? Lord Addict, what do you feel about these holiday releases and in general with spring? Like, what do you feel about all this?
Holiday sales are always going to mean more than anything else. The games that sell the most every year is always in holiday.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, like what Bmuny was saying, do you feel like that people should just stick with their guns as far as developers and publishers and actually release it?
No, if you don't think your game is on the caliber to compete in the holidays, you got to move your day.
Amen. I'm with that.
9 times out of 10, the games that sell the most out of every year comes out in the holiday because those are the blockbusters. There's a reason no one wants to touch Call of Duty in November.
Those are Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm. No, but he's right though. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if Lord Addict's finished, yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think this is a great topic, Bmuny. Like, it's one of those things where we got those established franchises like a COD or whatever that drop in November, or Assassins and stuff, and people are going to buy.
Crackdown has no business being out in November.
No, it doesn't unless it's bundled with the system.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I agree. Because it's the 7th in when's Call of Duty, y'all? When's the release date for Call of Duty? Is it before the
13th, I think?
At the 13th?
Yeah.
So it's only gonna get like a week to rock. And I always get concerned with stuff like that because I'm like, when you're so close to the COD, I always call it like the COD effect, the neighboring effect. Like, you can get damaged. Like, you need to space it out, you know. So especially any type of shooter or whatever. So I mean, I do feel that. I do agree with Lord King. You know, I think spring is the new wave. I think that you know, that them tax dollars do come in and they do.
I don't care what nobody say. Boy, they get them income tax checks. Everything is lit. It's popping time.
And to my point is also, my point also is this. One thing I actually hate about being a gamer, especially like the last 3 years, is that when all the big devs and pubs release their games all bunched up November.
I think income tax has a part to do with it, but I think the main reason is because they know they can't compete with Call of Duty, Battlefield.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, you know, they want their game out in holiday. Yes. Like, that is the ideal release date. That's because when people are going out buying Christmas presents, that's the ideal. So, but you know, when they're like, well, let's delay it because we can't compete with Call of Duty, we can't compete with Battlefront 2, we can't compete with these November and September, October big hits. Why do you think there's really nothing coming out at the beginning of September? Because no one thinks they can compete with Destiny 2.
Mark my words.
So they're like,
Thieves is backed by H&R Block.
I'm done. I'm done with you.
So you know, they're looking at it. They're like, well, you know, we can delay it because we'll underperform in the holidays. You know, we'll put it out there towards, you know, the middle to the beginning of because a lot of times if a game is delayed out of a year, it comes out in January, February. That's usually when it comes out. So you know, they're like, you know, we'll get around the same time that you know, people are getting their income tax back, and you know, we'll do decent there. And there's some games that come out at like the first couple of days of January and ended up selling millions of copies.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, again, shout out to the chat too. I agree. To me, I respect when the publisher is like, look, we're gonna move the date. Like, don't do the Titanfall 2. Like, don't egotistically put your title out in a space where you know you're not going to be able to compete or just realistically get the most revenue for said game. So it's like, I actually like when a company humbles themselves and say, you know what? We're going to move. Like, I just look at cases like Titanfall 2. I look at Rise of the Tomb Raider. What were they thinking? Remember?
That was stupid.
Dropping on the same day as Fallout 4. And that game is amazing. And Titanfall is amazing. And you sit there and you're like, why do they do it to themselves? You should have the flexibility to move. And me personally, like I said before, like, I actually like when stuff gets pushed back to that, you know, February, March area, because again, I always feel November is just too cluttered sometimes, you know, and I just like that spacing out of games and having like blockbusters at the top of the year. I mean, look what we had this year, right? We had Horizon Zero Dawn, and we had, you know, Neo and Zelda, all these great games, but we even made a topic. We were like, yo, has the game of the year been released already? And we didn't even get to eat. Remember? We had like an early ILP, we did that. So to me, that's the wave. That's just me personally. I don't know what the rest of the Lords think about it.
I think every developer should look at it month to month.
I don't think it was just Ubisoft. I think every dev was happy Red Dead 2 got delayed.
Absolutely.
Oh
Yeah, that's a huge game.
Look at Ubisoft, like their 2 best-selling games released early in the year. Ghost Recon, For Honor.
Yes.
That's because those 2 games can't compete with holidays. They knew this.
Yo, shout out to For Honor. Shout out AJ, Lord Addict. Shout out For Honor. I give it up to when I got to give it up, baby. Those numbers came in, and you was looking kind of rosy over there.
No doubt. That was definitely an intense bet between you, the argument between you two. I remember that one.
I still won it, so it don't matter.
I have no problem with turning into you and looking at you and say you was absolutely right, 100%. You know, but I do like the fact that the masses have went back to the game and showed that there's content in the game that they like, and it shows the diversity in our whole conglomerate of game players here, that we can go back to games that are released months before, and those numbers do show that it is viable. You know,
shout out to Winter Soldier in the chat. He also said that he thinks Forza is going to be safe for the holiday release, but he's concerned that Super Lucky's tail might get destroyed.
Super Lucky Tail, people are going to pick it up when they want to pick it up. It's a cheap title, so a lot of people pick it up anyway.
What's the
Christmas
release
gift?
When's the release date for Super Lucky Tail? I don't even remember. Anybody knows?
It's probably
you know why you don't know?
It's probably something stupid because Microsoft's on that dumb shit.
I can tell you why you don't know. Because it probably fall around someplace around the game that you're going to buy. And that didn't second thought. They should put it to the spring, like Lord B. What he said.
They're saying it launches day and date with the X.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Crackdown. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, Crackdown.
Yeah,
2 games that should be in the box.
Oh my God! Y'all savage.
2 games that should be in the box is gonna sell 25,000. I don't know what is wrong with you guys, but y'all gonna learn today.
Yeah, you're right. November 7th, publisher Microsoft Studios.
Crackdown is selling more than 25,000.
Listen, you're not getting me into no bet with that. I don't care what you say with that game. They're gonna sell more than 25,000 because it's gonna be in the box.
Oh my Lord! That was a packet. It's a packet.
That could be sold individually, and I bet you they break 100,000.
It can sell individual to you because you're not buying, so you're not in the conversation. No, you buying Crackdown on the regular Xbox. I'm talking about to us elite players.
Why does it matter about elite players? Like, I don't get that. Just because I'm picking up the Xbox.
Phil Spencer said elite players is playing the Xbox One X. So I'm going by what Phil said.
I mean, I guess if you feel like you need that to make yourself an elite player, then that's
right. And that's why I got an elite controller. The elite controller told me I'm an elite player, so this is why I purchased the elite controller.
On that note,
I mean, it's whatever.
It says elite on the box. I mean, come on, man.
Some people need a little bit more help to make them elite. So.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I needed that help. I can't play with that old whack controller. I need that elite
any game, and I'm already elite. I don't need.
I don't think so. Your controller does not say it. When your controller doesn't say elite, you just regular. You just playing regular controller. Like you go to store. When you go to the store, there's a section in the store for you that had the regular controllers. There's a section in the store for me that have the elite controllers. So I go to the side that has the elite controllers.
It's whatever. I mean, if that's,
I mean, you shouldn't feel bad if you got a regular controller.
Now, what you need to do is you need to breathe. You need to breathe into your mouth and breathe out because you want some dumb shit right now.
And on that note, we will be moving on to the next topic. A lot of hot and heavy in here, a lot of premium talk going on right now. So let's move on. Actually, Lord Addict, this is you. And I want to talk about that N64 Mini, possibly. Some chirping in these streets. What's going on with that?
Apparently there's been a trademark that's leaked that the N64 controller is being trademarked again. So, obviously, I mean, Nintendo could be making an N64 controller for the hell of it, but I think we can all agree they're using it for another product. So, chances are we're going to get an N64 Mini next year. And you know what I wanted to ask is, if you could pick any 15 games to go on that, what would it be? And you know, Lord Cognito wanted to bring the Atari up in this, but I mean, you guys want to talk about that shit? You can talk about that. I don't really care about the Atari box. That thing they could give me that free, and I'll be like, what am I supposed to do with this shit?
I feel you. Yeah, this is tough. I mean, 64. I'll jump in on this one. Yeah, 64. That's some great memories, man. Mine's actually different because I remember 64. We had Mario 64. We had all those, you know, big titles. But as Lord Sovereign and Lord Kaibatsu and Lord Sinister know, N64 holds a different place in my heart for different reasons. I was all about them Aki wrestling games. WCW and WO. You know what I'm saying? The wrestling baby. Like, to me, N64
bunch of weirdos
had the best wrestling games I had ever played. Like, it was, let me tell you, Lord, it was so savage. We would make our own pay-per-views.
Yep.
We would create our own characters. Like,
that house was lit.
We would put
belts.
We bought Lord King.
I still got the belt, baby.
Belt, the WCW belt. We would have wrestling tournaments every week in N64 Aki wrestling games, right? And whoever won gets to go home with the belt, Bmuny. And we took pictures, so you didn't want to lose the championship match. And then how we did it was like we would do like a match type before, almost like a battle royal. And then whoever gets eliminated, then the final two would face each other. Then we put up the names in the hat with what type of match. So sometimes triple threat would come up, and the person who lost in the battle royal would get another chance for a championship. It was just a whole bunch of shystiness and people dragging your leg under the rope and trying to cost you. It was
you gotta be clear that the battle royals were lumberjack battle royals. So anybody got eliminated stayed outside of the ring,
right?
Fully shysting whoever was still in the match.
So you already eliminated. You in your feelings. So you're like, you know what? I don't want to solve it. Like, I'm gonna shice him. You know, it just became all these weird alliances. And I mean, we would get into arguments. Like, dudes would not talk to each other. Like, I remember, like, Lloyd Sinister. Like, if someone shysted you out of the championship, it was weird, you know? So N64 for me is them wrestling games, man. And I doubt that they're gonna bring those back because I'm assuming that's a licensing thing.
Yeah, wasn't they THQ or something like that?
Yeah, that was THQ.
Nordic probably owns it now.
Yeah, it was probably
they don't actually. Those licenses are all up in the air. Trust me, as soon as I heard this, I looked into it.
If they're up in the air, there's a good chance that they'll be on it then.
Oh, shout out to Out of Heaven. No Mercy was the best period. He know that it's life. Oh, baby, let's go.
No, the problem is they might be able to get the engines in, but in terms of licensing for specific wrestlers and stuff like that, like obviously like the games have Chris Benoit in it, like stuff like that. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be, and it's not worth it money wise. The best chance we have is that they're willing to put the engine in and just with a blank slate engine, and that's it.
Now here's the thing. What about for people? Let's talk non-64 mini. Like the emulators allow, like Raspberry Pi and all that stuff, right? You allowed to get those back in the day?
Yeah, you can do that. You can download those.
Right. Okay. I was just curious because I actually never seen the old games. It's been that long. So
I was putting together a system like for my kids, you know, because I'm trying to get them into our old school gaming. So I'm putting together like a Raspberry Pi system with those downloads from Nintendo 64, Super NES, you know, and the wrestling games was like top of the list. They kept the competitive juices flowing. We was looking forward to every weekend. So yeah. Shout out to you.
Shout out to Chief Tommy in the chat. He said that James Bond. No, what's up? Nobody ain't talking about that. Remember that Bond? Was it?
Well, it should be there.
Well, people say Banjo-Kazooie and stuff, but the question is Microsoft going to let them do it? So
no, they won't.
Because if you think about it, I mean, they might, but if you think about it, like the majority of the games they would put on that service is on Rare Replay, and I don't think they would try to hurt the sales of Rare.
Right.
Regardless, Rare Replay might not be getting a whole lot of sales. But when by then especially, that's a year.
I hope they put out Blast Corps. I'm missing Blast Corps. Yeah, that was one of my little in the corner games, for Nintendo 64. We know we're gonna get Mario. We're gonna probably get Mario Kart. I think maybe.
You're gonna get pretty much everything that says 64 in the title.
Yeah, but that Blast Corps was A very good title from them, and it was a very early on title. I think it was a launch title with them. And I love the fact that it was there. So yeah, I hope they put Blast Corps with it.
No doubt. What about you, Bmuny? What's your titles like to Lord Addict's question?
I just want to say real quick, the farm is trending on Twitter.
Oh, okay, no doubt. We'll check that out when no one's there. Bmuny, what you got?
It was definitely the wrestling games were number one. GoldenEye was in there. Win Back was one of my good ones.
Oh yes, Win Back. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
that's like, with the special ops people, right?
Yeah. So, stuff like that is what definitely be on my list. Of course, you get the Smash Brothers, the Mario 64 stuff like that. But some of those third party games for 64 were pretty dope. I mean, they had a pretty good library. It just kind of was overshadowed by by PlayStation, but it still had it. And I would definitely love to see the wrestling games come back. If we can get Revenge or No Mercy or WrestleMania.
Man.
I start the tournaments back up, Lord Bmuny. You be in. I start the tournaments back up, bro. I'm telling you. It is crazy. What about you, Lord Sov? What about your list? What games you want?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, honestly, the wrestling games would be first and foremost. But that, like I said, I looked into that, and that's something that's a reach. But beyond that, obviously, the Mario 64, the Zeldas. What was the
Was it
the Rogue Squad? Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah,
like
Diddy Kong Racing,
the Turok games. The two Turok.
Oh yes, Turok. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot. They had good versions of like NFL Blitz, NBA Jam, but like the other Mario titles, like they had the Mario Tennis, the Mario Golf.
Oh yeah.
They have more than people kind of give them credit for. The Pod Racer, like they had a lot of stuff, man.
That NBA Jam was probably one of the best ones.
I wonder if they throw the Pokemon Stadium on there. I wonder if they.
Wave Race.
Oh my God!
We thought that was the greatest water.
Oh yeah, Wave Race.
Remember when we saw Wave Race? We was like,
"Oh my Lord,
I've never seen water like that."
The water physics is crazy.
Shout out, Lord.
I'm gonna be honest.
Hey.
Wave Race 64 water to me looked better than Wave Race GameCube water.
Yeah,
like it's something about it, the way it moved and the way it just felt real. Like it was really to me that blew me away. That Wave Race.
What? So
Lord, was above his time. Yeah.
Lord Addict, what's your 15? You got a different perspective because the 64 to you, I always forget. We got the young OG right here, so. 64 to you represents a different Nintendo. Like this is like who you started with. So what's up with those games and the stuff you looking forward to personally?
I mean, I think we can guarantee GoldenEye is going to be on there. We can guarantee Pokemon Stadium. One of them is going to be on there. Probably Pokemon Snap. I would not be surprised if they put that on there. Mario 64 definitely. Maybe Quest 64.
Oh yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
Doom 64.
Wow. That was the best Doom.
Yeah.
I told you, man. It's going to be a lot of 64 in the title. Like it felt like anything was 64 and its name was fire. Like
remember when it was called Ultra?
Star Fox. That's going to be on
Star Fox. Remember Star Fox? Yeah. Now here's the question I got for you. Remember, was it 64 when they debuted the expansion pack? Remember they put it
the Rumble pack.
Play Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Majora's. I wonder how they handle that. And as far as now we know they've got the license for the controller, right? So we think we're getting it in its original form with the analog, because that was the debut. Most people don't know that was the debut of an analog stick.
Yeah, first one.
Mm-hmm. That was the first analog, and it changed the game because those controls almost look like a little batarang, right?
Yep.
I tell people all the time, like as much shit as we give Nintendo, like they
talk about it.
I mean, they were like the first ones there. You know what I mean? Everybody just kind of iterated after it, but Nintendo was right there on the doorstep at a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? They put the Rumble in there too. So
yeah, that's right.
That was the Rumble pack.
So Rumble debuted with 64
with the memory expansion. Yeah.
Wow. And they had was it one of the earlier systems that had 4-player right without a tap?
Yeah.
Because
built into the system.
Right into the system. That's as a co-op guy, I always appreciated that about 64. Like you had your
Nintendo was the innovators of a lot of things.
Yeah, man. It was that system brought us good memories, man. So let's talk about this being on the good memories / memories topic. What about this Atari box, y'all? Real quick before we wrap this up.
I'm buying it.
I'm buying it if it actually exists. If it actually comes out.
Yo, you know what's crazy? CNN reported on it, like very brief, like on a little passing by of it, and that's how I heard about it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "Are you serious?" So that's when I sent you that the message, because I went delving into it, and I said, "This is for real. This is not vaporware. This is not a joke. This is not a game." Mm-hmm. They showed 2 iterations of it: the one with the wood grain and the one that's the all black with the orange. Apparently, they said they're going to be playing current games as well. I don't know what that means. I know they said they're going to be playing old games, but they said also current games. So I don't know, is Atari trying to do some type of comeback or something? I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you, because it's like all hit at one time. But I'm definitely picking up the system.
Lord Bmuny, where are you at with this Atari box information and news that we got so far?
Yeah, like as soon as I saw that they were going to be playing current games, like I just need to see the controller. You know what I mean? That determines, what type of games you're going to have. Like if it's more of a standard controller, you know what I mean, with, bumpers and triggers and buttons, then they might be onto something. Atari is an old school company, but, you know what I mean, they have great relationships out there. I don't know if they, really be able to compete, but, that's another option for somebody else. And maybe if they come at a lower price point, you know what I mean, they get people to jump in and, they can still play some of the current games or whatever the case is. Yeah, so I'm definitely interested in it. You know what I mean? I want to see where they take it from here. But, the fact that they're playing current games puts them, in people's mindset.
Lord Bmuny. I gotta ask. Did you see any cartridge slot in there? I didn't see a cartridge slot, so I think this system is going to be download only.
Yeah, from my understanding, it says 4 USB ports, an HDMI port, an SD card slot, and a place to plug in a network cable. That's what we've seen.
How do they need an HDMI port?
Shut up with that.
You gotta play Adventure and eat in HD. 4K. 60 frames per second. You gotta play.
I want to play Pong in 4K.
I'm done with you. He said Pong in 4K.
ET 4K, baby.
I'm done with y'all. I mean, listen, it's one of those, for me, it's one of those things from a nostalgia standpoint. I am happy that it exists. Let's just say that. I can't take Atari seriously right now. I'm kind of with Lord Addict on this, so that I'm really not taking it serious, but it would be cool if they do like an emulation thing, if they kind of follow the Nintendo format and they kind of like give you like 2600, 1700, Jaguar, all these things. All right, maybe, I might look into it. Having it in the house is a nostalgia thing. But is the vibe that they're going to be really making new games, though, Bmuny? Has anybody confirmed like this is going to be like?
That's all they said.
So they in the game now?
Yeah, they said current games.
They coming?
Yeah. I swear, I put my arms and my shoulders up like, what?
Yeah, I'm like, why? But okay.
Yeah, because it threw me off. Like, when you look at it, it's like, the wood grain is cool. You know what I mean? It's back.
That's what I said.
And then, like, you see the other one, the black and orange joint. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Maybe they are, trying to be in people's living room.
Oh man, we'll see. I'm dying. Good. I guess so.
I think when they talk about new games, they talk about, to me, it's an Android platform. How powerful it is going to be up in the air. But like what Cognito said, like if it's something that plays like 2600, 7800, 5200 games and the entire backlog, Jaguar stuff too. That's, I mean, that to me is a little more appealing. And the fact, when you talk about new games, I think, any new indie stuff You know, the Steam, those type of games, I think would be perfect for that system.
I just want to ask you guys a question. Like, you know, a simple question. You can answer it pretty fast. When's the last time you've watched a podcast or, you know, seen a tweet on Twitter? You're like, you know what I want? Atari shit. Like, when's the last time
you feel this is a Calvin boardroom?
But like, I've seen people want, like, I want to play an NES Mini. Like, even when the NES Mini came out, I didn't see anyone say, you know, NES Mini's awesome. I want an Atari Mini. That did not happen. So you know what an Atari thinks? You know what Nintendo making bank? We going to. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to make bank. Yeah. You are going to put that out there.
I looked at
it's going to sell good, but it's not going to. It's not going to be outsold. It's not going to be sold out anywhere.
Yep, it's funny you said that because I thought the same thing. Like, oh, y'all trying to eat with the okay, we could do that. We got, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt too. I ain't gonna lie.
Ain't nobody trying to buy an $80 to $120 machine to play Pong. I'm sorry, like it's not.
I mean, I think you're underestimating the nostalgia factor.
Especially when I can run that on a calculator. Like, it's not happening.
I feel exactly what you're saying. Like, I don't think nobody cried out for this, but again, it is at our doorstep, and it's like, what are you going to do with the baby? Are you going to open the door, let the baby in, or are you going to close the door, let the baby die? So I'm gonna let the baby in.
Yes, I mean, Lord Addict, this was never for you. This is for me. This is for Lord Cognito. Should he want to put it? This for the old heads. And the thing is, it's just a way of getting all this stuff together on one platform.
I still ain't seen an old head be like, I want that.
Nobody said I never said we wanted it. We wanted it, but like I said, it's at the door. It's knocking at the door.
It's knocking at the door, and no one gonna pick up because they on vacation.
Lord Addict, I'm assuming this is not on your
obviously the young bucks are gonna hate it.
I don't know, but.
Coming from the dude who said I ain't gonna play a game at 900p, get out of here, kid.
Addict, what if it has? But Addict, what if it has a chat app? What if it has a chat?
Then I'd be saying Atari's ahead of the corner.
Yo, if it comes with a headset and a chat app, and you can watch YouTube.
What if we got YouTube and the chat app don't disconnect and it lets you talk?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie though, that'd be lit. I might.
And on that note, we're gonna end this show soon. This is hilarious. Oh my god. Oh man, big money, man. Thanks for coming through. I know we kept you a little bit running our mouth.
Hashtag no one asked for that.
It's all good. I appreciate it, man.
But I just want to shout out to everyone in the chat. Yo, the chat was lit today. Before we do these outros, also I want to talk about, we got a new poll coming up this week, so I just want to put this in everybody's mind. I'm going to throw this up on ILP Twitter. So pretty much it's going to be for those who are picking up Xbox One X on day one. Will you wait until November 7th to purchase the majority of those titles for the X treatment? Titles like Shadow of War, AC Origins, Forza 7. Are you picking them up day one? Or are you waiting? So that's going to be the new poll that's going out. We appreciate all the support. You guys are definitely rocking, and we're going to get these outros going. So, Lord B Money, where can the people find you these days?
Man, I'm a little bit everywhere. You can just find me at Bmuny101 on Twitter. You can always check us out, Tick Podcast.
Sure.
So just Google that. You can find us anywhere. Website, Tick Podcast. YouTube,
no doubt. Tick's in the building.
You know, that's about it, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. I had a great time. You know,
appreciate you, man, for coming through.
Thank you for holding my book bag that time, man. I thought I lost it.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, those E3 parties, man. We get a little loose sometimes. We forget.
Yeah, man, I thought I lost it, baby. We were drinking that night. I don't know.
A little bit.
I still got the picture of us with the we had the Elder Scrolls mead and we had the big brontosaurus legs of turkey.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man.
So it was always fun. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Tick, man. You guys are doing great things over there. All you guys over there, except Anchor, man. But I like. But my co-host with the co-host, Lord Addict, where can I find people? What you got cooking up?
Well, you know what you won't find me doing? That's buying an Atari. So
oh my God.
So I mean, you can find me on Twitter, Lord Addict ILP. You can find me on YouTube, Gaming Addict. Obviously you can catch me here, co-host, and you can catch me Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on Kid Smooth's podcast. I'm the co-host over there on Planet Xbox. I'm definitely wanting to do an Addict Spotlight this week. I'm neither going to do it on Kingdom Hearts or Crackdown. I don't know which one yet. I'm still getting, I'm going to do my Addict Spotlight a little bit different this time, so I'm getting everything done, ready for that. But, I appreciate everyone that definitely came in. Me and the other lords are still coming in. We might have a special feature we're going to do next week, but that we'll announce that later on. So definitely follow us on Twitter. Like, absolutely. I can't begin to describe how you guys need to follow the lords because besides me, the other ones are entertaining. So
I love the plug, baby. I love the plug. But yeah, no, that's right. Next week is going to be crazy. So you're going to tune in for that too as well. So he's right about that. And Lord Sovereign, where can the fine people find your profile these days?
First of all, big shout out to Bmuny for being on the show. Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You guys keep it lit, man. Just keep everybody engaged. So we appreciate that. And yeah, you guys can find me on PSN at BX Sovereign, one word, Xbox Live at BX Sovereign, 2 words, and Twitter Lord Sov ILP.
No doubt. And real quick before I move on to the next outro, shout out to Fastback in the chat. He said you can also catch Bmuny on Brat Baby, Basement Radio Arcade. He told me to
shout out to my Brat brothers, man. Shout out to my Brat brothers.
No doubt, Brap in the building, Enrique, all of them, man. I listened to you guys when I was at work. Great show also. So yeah, shout out to Brap. They always show support to the ILP. Love you guys. Chief Tommy, I see you. And also we want to get this over to the premium experience gamer himself, Lord King.
The elite controller buyer. How you doing?
The dude that needs accessories that might be a good gamer.
That's right, baby. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Some people can't use garbage and be as good as you. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, brother. You make it look easy.
As long as you give me that props, that's all that matters, man.
That's all I say. Hey, you are
Money.
damn good.
You see what I did with Bmuny? You see what I did with?
Yeah, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Everything is coming along, getting the podcast going, getting the videos going. I have a person working on the website going. All that stuff is coming along as it's going. The animators is doing their thing. The basement is finished, so stuff is working. But I had to let everybody know Oculus dropped their price to $399 for the system and the controller. So they're going like head to head with the PSVR. And I know y'all probably saying it's still a little bit pricey, but look at all the tech that's in that box. Price-wise, that VR is very viable at this point in time. Just, give a shout out, give a look, go to Best Buy, check it out, put it on your head. I'm pretty sure once you put it on your head, you can't get it out of your head. You'll get it.
No doubt.
No, it's because they put glue on that shit, so when you put it on your head, you literally can't get it off your head.
What is your aversion to VR? Are you scared of VR?
Let's not get started. That'll be another 20 minutes. Of course, it's Lord Cognito here. Appreciate y'all. Please like, subscribe, ILP, all our media outlets, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. All the support really helps. Yo, the chat was lit. Yo, chat has been lit the last 3 to 4 weeks, y'all. I want to really support, give a props out to y'all. And all that really helps us. And also, I want to give a shout out to our good friends at playbackgaming.net. You can find some great articles there by some good PBG writers, and all of the ILP audio of all our past podcasts is up there. So if you listen,
even the ones that are no longer on YouTube.
Exactly. So if you really want to see the intros to how we started this thing, when we used to be just a Destiny only podcast, you can catch that out. And of course, it's Lord Cognito here. We appreciate the love. And on that note, we are out.
What's going on?